William Burns.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I'm pleased to take a short call on this committee stages of the Financial Services Providers Bill. And just to note, if ever there was an illustration of the need for legislation like this, it came on Morning Report this morning, where a spokesman appeared for those who had lost money in the debacle around ING, owned by the ANZ Group. And that spokesman for that group was himself a financial investment advisor, and he was amongst those who had lost money in what had happened with ING. And that is because there is not across the financial sector the sorts of disclosure that is required for people to know whether they are getting the right advice, whether they are making the right investments, whether they are making the right choices to protect themselves and their families when making what can often be long-term investment decisions. And so the importance for clarity, the importance for transparency, the importance that people know exactly what they are getting is at the core of this bill, and it is to be applauded. And it's another signal and message, I think, that markets do not always deliver everything that people need, which is sometimes a mantra we hear. We must have appropriate regulation in place to protect people, sometimes against themselves, sometimes against people who aren't transparent and who aren't currently accountable, and who sometimes have an agenda behind what appears they are providing by way of service and assistance. And last year, my wife and I went to find a financial advisor to give us some advice about our future. We chose a reputable firm. I have no doubt that the advisor we chose gave us good advice, but I had no real security around the fact that that was being provided by him. It's a little bit of a lottery, and so this bill assists in that respect in terms of the transparency and accountability for advice provided. We were not in a situation of requiring any particular financial instruments from the advisor we sought. It was simply in the line of advice, but obviously that can compound and present potential conflicts of interest. And I do note that we have seen many thousands of New Zealand investors who've lost money in the myriad of financial company collapses over the last 3 or 4 years, sometimes after advice from financial service providers to put investments into a particular organisation and institution, into the likes of Hanover Finance, whom I seem to recall used to promote itself on our state-owned television New Zealand as the name one could trust. And of course that turned out to absolutely not be the case. So I welcome this bill. I think it will help protect people against some of the slick advertising and marketing that we see, and give people more confidence that when they make investment choices guided by financial advisors, they have every reason to be able to believe that that advice is provided appropriately and transparently.
Stuart Nash.